Could two people repopulate the earth? Now, it really depends. If it's me, I could do it.
So there they are, Aiden
Because
and
no
Ellie.
matter how many kids I have, none of them are going to have any form of disabilities because my semen is just that powerful. So it doesn't matter how many times my kids reproduce with each other, to get their population back. My genes are so powerful that it won't matter. I just produce a bunch of Einsteins and Van Goghs. Hopefully none of them were pedos. I don't know. I haven't done enough research on them.
The only survivors to have not succumbed to the apocalypse. Still in their late teens, the two are in
Walker
their prime,
and,
at least
Chelsea.
when it comes to baby making. The good news is they have the hots for each other, but can they repopulate the Earth? You all know that
Light
there's
work.
a version of human history that involves two folks
Light
getting
work.
it on and kicking off mankind. Those two starstruck lovers were Adam and Eve, a couple that made the Garden of Eden their home. We're not exactly sure what kind of food they had to...
If a man named Adam can do it, if he can get things started, I can too.
sustain their lives in the garden, but probably a bit more than the forbidden fruit. As for Aiden and Ellie, there's plenty of food on their lonely planet. The old blue ball didn't get whacked by an asteroid or anything similarly cataclysmic. It was forward-thinking artificial intelligence that wiped everything out. But then it destroyed itself just before it could finish off the last two humans.
Okay.
The animals are still around. The AI was programmed to ensure the
Oh,
sustainability.
never mind. If the animals are still here, we're fucked. Oh yeah, no, I'm done. You think I'm gonna be hunting for a rabbit? Then I come across a snake that's getting chased by a hawk that just had a cheetah jump at it, bro. I'm not going through that. I'd rather just end it there. I'm not going through this. Imagine being in fucking Australia. You have more kangaroos than there were people in Australia. Everywhere you go, you have to fight for your dominance. No, bro.
of the Earth at any cost. And then it figured out that humans were going to destroy the planet. So the only rational thing to do was to destroy all the humans. Yeah, whoever developed that program sure upset a lot of folks. For the first couple of months, Aiden and Ellie didn't really think much about starting mankind again. They spent much of their time hanging out in rich people's houses and driving fast cars. Ellie
You tell me all the people died around them and they're just hanging in rich people's houses and doing fast cars, bro. That's it? Electricity and gas isn't gonna be around that long for them to do that for a few months. Everything shuts off. What are we talking about?
almost drove into a tree one day, and after that the couple decided not to take too many risks. There was some serious business to take care of. Thankfully, they lived in Los Angeles, California, which, having a mild climate, meant the couple didn't have anything to fear from a brutal winter, and the fact that there was no electricity. Let's just start by saying that while the apocalypse was a bit of a downer, these two got very lucky in terms of their chances of survival.
What?
They also had the added bonus of not being related. That's a good thing, because studies have shown that when children are born from folks who are related, there's a higher rate of infant mortality.
Not
Even
my
if the kids
though.
did survive,
We won't find out. We wouldn't find out. Okay, we wouldn't find out. But I have such a connection with my semen that I know it wouldn't happen. Okay, let's make that clear.
there's a much higher chance that those kids will be born with some kind of defect. Nonetheless, Ellie and Aiden's offspring might be born healthy, but what about the offspring's offspring? Now we
They'll be
run
straight.
into difficulties. In a study undertaken in Czechoslovakia between the years of 1933 and 1970, scientists looked at the children of parents who were first-degree relatives. First degree is someone in your direct family. Procreating with these people isn't generally a cool thing to do.
Okay.
Even if first cousins get it on, the offspring has double the chance of having a birth defect.
Yeah, because I had a friend, she actually had her sister who had sex with her cousin, had a kid. They didn't know they were cousins. I didn't believe them. But they were like two Asians, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was two Asians, and they came out with a white ginger baby. I don't
In that
know,
study,
bro.
the kids who were
I don't
born
know.
to first-degree parents didn't have great outcomes. 40% of them had very severe disabilities.
I'm not lying.
14
No, I'm not. I'm not. Someone in their family tree has to be some white somewhere, but when I saw it for the first time, I was like, whose baby is this? And then she's talking about her sister had made love with her cousin. I'm like, okay, haha, seriously, whose fucking baby is this?
15% of them died because of their disabilities. We have a very good real-life example of this, featuring a man you might think was trying to increase the population of his country. That man was King Chulalongkorn of
course
Thailand,
he was from
who ruled from
Thailand.
1868 to 1910. The guy did a lot of good things in terms of modernizing his country, and he was also a formidable baby maker, just as his father had been. That father was King Mongkut, who had 82 children in total.
82? For what reason? For what reason? How many baby mamas?
One of them was Chulalongkorn. Following in his daddy's footsteps, Chulalongkorn had a lot of wives, consorts, and concubines, adding up to 116 women in total. To keep the bloodline pure, several of his partners, with whom he'd had children, were actually his half-sisters. Back in those days, it still wasn't clear how bad inbreeding was, but the proof soon became evident in the pudding, so to speak. He had a kid with his half-sister, named Daksinajar Niradhiraj.
Oh yeah, he sounded like he broken. Is that racist? I apologize. I did not mean that. That is not what I was going for.
Died just hours after it was born. He had 8 kids with his half-sister Savang Vadhana.
Damn!
One of them lived for just 3 days, and most of them didn't make it to adulthood.
Them niggas died in 3 days? Oh wow. Oh wow.
Vadhana herself lived until the ripe old age of 93. She was the product of inbreeding. In fact, if you research what happened to his 77 children, you see that many, and we're talking many, didn't live very long at all. A lot of them died when they were barely out of their fancy infant clothes. Many others died in their 20s and 30s. European royalty was also into keeping things in the family to ensure the bloodline was pure, and also to make certain money and property stay within the family after someone passed away.
Okay.
European inbreeding in royal families was very evident in the Spanish Habsburg dynasty.
Is this real? Chat, is this real? Is this canon? Is this nonfiction? There is no way someone deliberately drew a painting of somebody. They looked at it and they were like, yes, this is what I want to be remembered by. No, this has to be non-canon. This has to be canon, bro. Non-canon, yeah, it has to be non-canon, bro. No way.
Dynasty. Offspring were often weak and sickly. There was also the now famous deformity called the Habsburg jaw. The internet might have been down in Aiden and Ellie's Brave New World, but they did have access to books and libraries, and being the prudent folks they were,
they not reading, bro. Why are they not fighting for their Oh, they do have a lot of processed food. They have a lot of processed food. Because, Twinkies never go old. Oatmeal cookies never go old. They got no fruits and vegetables, though. Okay, they don't got none of those. But what, neutral grain bars, Nature Valley,
read up on inbreeding. After going through a few books on the matter, they were rightfully afraid their kids would bite the dust just as soon as they let out that first primal scream, or perhaps spend their short lives hobbling around while carrying a jaw that would put Desperate Dan to shame. The couple also read about the Colt family in Australia and the marriage between June and Jim. In short, June was the child of a brother and a sister. She married Jim Colt. They were in New Zealand at the time.
Okay.
They had 7 kids of their own and moved to Australia.
Okay.
More kids were born once those kids were old enough to have children. But the Colts didn't stray much farther than their own home, if you get what we mean. The children were born through incest. A lot of the kids had defects, and some seemed...
Oh yeah, we could tell by the size of that forehead. That forehead was a pure indicator. I heard if your forehead over 5 inches, bro, there's actually something wrong in your head. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see a lot of women with these big foreheads, they're crazy. It's because there's actually something wrong with them.
A little mentally deranged and did things like hurt animals. Many were very sickly and prone to disease. Incest wasn't working out so well for the family. When an investigator found them, he said it was like nothing I'd ever seen. The story sent shivers down Aiden and Ellie's spines, with both of them just sitting for a while in the library, thinking about a team of kids running around with fungal feet trying to set cows on fire.
Man, it's been 6 months. Neither one of y'all pregnant yet. I said neither one of y'all. I said neither one of y'all. Okay, bro.
But did it have to be that way? That's the big question today. Some, not many, of King Chulalongkorn's children that he had with sisters went on to have fairly normal lives, though admittedly it's hard to find kids who lived past the age of 40. Aiden and Ellie were now certain that a small gene pool was going to lead to a future offspring of physically and mentally ill kids once their own children started procreating.
Man, I hate niggas who think too much and they just don't act, bro. Get your semen in her cooch. There should be no further discussion here. Okay? Time's a ticking. You never know which one of y'all gonna catch the plague and die because there's no medicine now. Okay? There's no more doctors. So get to procreating. Maybe y'all can procreate some doctors.
But what choice did they have? They had one kid, a boy, and named him Carl. Then they had another kid and they named him Asher. Damn, they thought, 2 boys. Then Carl accidentally killed Asher when they were fighting over toys, after which
I see why they're not gonna live long. They spent the first few months driving fast cars and living in rich people's houses, yet to procreate. Now they finally procreate, have the babies, and they killing each other.
Ellie and Aiden had a third child and named him Sebastian, another boy. With not much to do, these last 2 adult humans just kept pumping out kid after kid, as many in fact as was possible, given Ellie's natural aging process. The kids, for the most part, grew up fine, but the kids were a different matter altogether. Let us explain something now before we get to the strange case of the extended family. You heard of that thing called DNA. Well, it has packaged into it 23 pairs of chromosomes. Within every chromosome, there are hundreds of thousands of genes. It's these things that will determine human characteristics.
Nigga have breasts? Golly, them things kinda thick. This nigga got plastic surgery?
Such as hair color, but some of them are also bad to the bone, sometimes literally. Every gene has a couple of copies and they are called alleles. When 2 people have a child, they pass on 1 pair to the child. There are dominant and recessive genes too. If one pair of genes is dominant, you will have a trait of that gene when it's passed to you. With recessive genes, it's different because you need both pairs of the genes to gain the trait. For example,
I want to know what happened to Allele. Okay, what happened to her? I don't need to hear this.
Because they aren't very good with strangers. Okay, that's a joke. But if your parents are related, there's more of a chance that they carry some defective gene. And in that case, the child might get a pair, and one thing leads to another. A child is born with a chin that looks like an old boot. If there are generations all from the same gene pool, at some point, even with all the show, the man famous for his chin.
What happened to Allele?
Possible. Anything is possible. We are going to bounce back, she said under her breath in a determined voice. And with one of not everyone got it. This made Ellie happy. She sat there with the book in her hand, and with one of her granddaughters crying from a crib nearby, she repeated those words in her mind. Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
So out of all the grandbabies she had, she only had one mentally capable one. Is that the right mentally? Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
We are going to bounce back, she said under her breath in a determined voice, even though out of the corner of her eye she glimpsed one of her less successful byproducts giggling while throwing an aerosol can into a small fire. There was a long way to go yet. And what
was the dumbest thing y'all did as a child, bro? I stuck a screwdriver in a light socket because I was bored. I didn't have nothing to do, and it knocked out all the light into our house. That was probably the dumbest thing I did.
Called the founder effect was still in full swing, meaning a profound lack of genetic diversity as generations interbreed.
This person said I drunk my cousin's pee, bro. I'm not trying to watch this no more. You just done killed it.